Hello, everybody, and welcome or welcome back to the second shelf and to another book haul. Yes, keeping up the tradition, as you can see. And I want to share with you the books I bought in February. Mostly they are for March. And a lot of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, are for March Mystery Madness. And one I didn't even buy. Isn't it a mystery? Anyway, book haul. Let's just, skip with the babble and get to the books. So I bought, I think it's 8 books, but I have 9 books to show you, keeping on with the mystery. And like I said, the first couple of books are all books that I bought to read in March for March Mystery Madness. If you're not familiar, March has a couple of readathons, March of the Mammoth, where you read a big book. I don't think I will be part of that, but there's also March Mystery Madness, which is organized by quite a group of people, but I will leave a link to Jen from Remembered Reads, her announcement video. I will leave a link to that down below. You find all the information. Basically, it's just in March, we try to read mysteries or more mysteries than we usually read. There's always a theme and there are a couple of prompts, but it's not, it's 3 prompts this year, and the theme is always very broad, so you can fill that in any way that you want, or just ignore it and read the mysteries that you want to read. It's all fine. But the theme this year is spring cleaning. And the prompts are related to that. It's lather, rinse, repeat, which you have probably encountered on your shampoo bottle. I don't think I will do the prompts, but the theme really spoke to me, because what I will try to do is read books that have either been on my shelf or that I really wanted to read for a very long time. Spring cleaning. Get rid of the old stuff and read that. That's just an explanation. Now, finally, after 2.5 minutes, we'll get to the books. And the first book that I bought is hopefully a buddy read with Heidi, even though she doesn't know that yet, because we are making our way through the Inspector Linley mysteries by Elizabeth George, and I bought book number 6, Missing Joseph. And this one is centering around the poisoning of a vicar. And that's basically all I know, and I don't need to know more, because like I said, we're making our way through the series, Inspector Linley and his partner Barbara Havers, and the 2 sidekicks, the pathologist Deborah St. James is the woman, and then you have St. James, the pathologist. They are also a couple. I'm not explaining this very well. Let's just put this book down and move on to the next one. Spring cleaning. Like I said, I've read one Tess Gerritsen and really liked it, and I wanted to start her main series, the Rizzoli and Isles series, but I never have. And so finally I bought the first one, The Surgeon, about a serial killer, a killer who targets lone women and performs terrifying ritualistic acts of torture, and he has surgical skills, and that's why he's called The Surgeon. And this first one was published in 2001, so it's a good 2 decades old. I have watched, I think, the first 2 seasons of the series on television, but I've never read the books, the Rizzoli and Isles books. Jane Rizzoli is the detective, and Maura Isles is a pathologist. So, spring cleaning, finally, I want to read the first book in the series, and if I like it, I will continue on with the series. I don't know how many books there are. I think 6 or 7. So there is something to work with. So that's the first one. And I want to read more Tess Gerritsen, because the one book I read, Bloodstream, maybe 5 years ago, I quite liked. So I picked up another standalone, which is Gravity. And this one was published in 1999. So it's equally 2 decades old, a little more than 2 decades. And this is about an unknown disease on a space shuttle. Yeah, I don't even have to know more than that. Space, astronauts, unknown disease. I'm all in. So let's see. Emma Watson, a brilliant research physician, has been training for the mission of a lifetime to study living organisms in the microgravity of space. And then, of course, things go horribly wrong. Yeah, it sounds amazing. And like I said, Tess Garrison is an author. She's an American, a US American author that I wanted to explore more. Certainly the series, but also her standalone. So I think she also wrote romance or something, but that's not something I'm interested in at the moment. So I will stick to her mysteries. And then another one, you will laugh now. I'm so late to the party, like more than 20 years late and more than 20 books late. The 2005, the first book, but I think there's a book every year, so there are at least 15 of them. And I'm of course talking about the Chief Inspector Gamache series by Louise Penny. I've never read any of those, ever. I haven't watched the series on television either. And I thought, spring cleaning, finally, let's bloody read the first one, Still Life. And I'm reading it with Sandy from Miss Reads a Lot, because she hasn't read one of those either. So we will read it together for March Mystery Madness. And all I know is that there is a female woman. There's a woman murdered in the beginning, and Chief Inspector Armand Gamache thinks that it's not an accident, and the story takes off from there. For me, the most important thing, I know that a lot of people really, really love this series. I'm not that much into cozy mysteries. So they often, they often bore me a little. It's not not that they are boring, please, but they bore me because it's often not what I look for in a mystery. I'm not necessarily into, even though I picked up The Surgeon, but it doesn't have to be serial killers and lots of blood. And no, Tana French, for instance, I don't remember a serial killer, and Jane Harper, but I like it gritty, the atmosphere in particular, and quite fast paced. I was never into the Miss Marple type of mystery. I read some of them and I thought they were, kind of cute and nice and quirky, but it's not the type of mystery I'm looking for. And so I'm not 100% sure whether this, because it's often marketed as a cozy mystery, whether this will be for me. But at least I want to give it a try and start with the first one. So this was a long explanation why I bought this book, which I will read, like I said, with Sandy. Did I miss another buddy read? No, I told you that even though Heidi doesn't know it yet, I hope that we can read the Linley together. And then the book that I haven't bought yet, I bought that for Cloak and Dagger. That's another month of mystery reading in December, and I didn't get to it. So I hope that I will get to the Aosawa Murders by Riko Onda, translated from the Japanese by Alison Watts, published in 2020 in the English translation and 2005 in the Japanese original. And it's about a cold case murder. On a stormy summer day in the 1970s, the Aosawas, owners of a prominent local hospital, host a large birthday party in their villa on the Sea of Japan. And then the occasion turns to tragedy when 17 people die and only one survives. Is it the blind daughter or... I'm not sure. I think she's blind. Yeah, the blind daughter. She's the only survivor. And then years and years later, somebody tries to solve the murders. It sounded really good, but for some reason I didn't get to it in last December, so I will give it another try. Spring cleaning, get this off my shelf finally. So those are the 5 books that I've picked up for March Mystery Madness, and let's see, first of all, whether I can get to all of them, and second of all, whether I can sort of force them to fit the prompts. Leather, rinse, repeat. I mean, repeat is certainly good, like for a series, I can use those, but leather especially and rinse, I don't know yet. But who cares? It's not important that we fulfill all the prompts. And then I have 4 books that have nothing to do with March Mystery Madness, but the first one I will read in March as a buddy read with Kathleen and Adam. I will leave a link to their channel, respectively, Instagram below. And that is Adam's pick, Joy Williams' Harrow, which was published 2 years ago. And she has written The Quick and the Dead, which was a finalist for the Pulitzer. So she's an American author, but I have never read anything by her. And this one is Adam's pick. If you follow my channel, you probably know that Adam, Kathleen, and I, we try to read 4 books together, one in each season. And the spring season, March, it was Adam's turn to pick, and he picked this one. So it's after an apocalypse, let's just say that, environmental apocalypse, and we follow Kristin, a teenager. I'm not that big of a fan, as you know, of child or very young narrators, but I'm all in for an apocalypse. So we'll see. The cover is intriguing. Don't know what to make of that. So we will read that, I think, in the second half of March. The next book I bought is a book that I have already read, but is not on my shelf, and I want to reread it. It's one of the books from the 1001 books by female authors that I have to read before I die, that I read in German, in the German translation. It's a French author, Margaret Yourcenar, Memoirs of Hadrian, and the English translation is by Grace Frick. The book was originally published in 1951, and this translation 3 years later, 1954. And I mean, I count it as read, but I want to read the English translation because I want to reread it, and I don't even own the German one. It's one of my mother's books. So this is what it says. It's a retelling of the Emperor Hadrian. And I remember really loving the way Margaret Yourcenar, who was a fantastic author, retold this life. It's not your typical way of, telling the life of a historical figure. So I'm really looking forward to revisiting this book. The next book is a pick. Let me see whether this is also. No, it's Bloomsbury. Anyway, never mind. My Global South project, for those of you who follow me, you are aware of the fact that I want to read more books from authors who come from what we now call the Global South, which is not a geographical term, but it's like the, developing country, third world countries, as we used to say. I'm focusing on Iran and the Caribbean, but I saw this one, and I really want to read this nonfiction book by Nawal El-Saadawi, The Hidden Face of Eve, which was published in 1977 and translated from the Arabic by Sherif Hetata. El-Saadawi, of course, was an Egyptian activist, doctor. She died last year. I really admire her life and work. And this is her probably most well-known book, which I have never read, about women in the Middle East. This powerful non-fiction account of the oppression of women in the Muslim world. It is, of course, from the 1970s, but still. So I'm very much looking forward. Of course, I'm looking forward to all the books. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought them. But I'm not sure when I will get to this because I still want to do Iran and the Caribbean for at least the first couple of months. So maybe into March. But I plan on reading this before the summer for sure. And the last one is more or less, a coincidental find, because one of my other reading projects is independent presses, but also focusing on the feminist press and Virago Press, which technically is not an independent press anymore because they were sold to Hachette a couple of years ago. But they publish female authors, as does the feminist press. So those are two presses that I really want to look at their backlist. And I found this memoir by Doreen Cunningham, Soundings, Journeys in the Company of Whales. And this book was published last year, but is now in this is the paperback that just came out, I think last month. And it is about from Mexico to the Arctic ice, gray whale mothers swim with their calves. Following them by bus, train, and ferry are Doreen and her toddler Max in pursuit of a wild hope. Whales, I love books about whales. I love the memoir combination when you have a memoir but combined with some activity, whether it's research or whether it's watching birds, or that always intrigues me and draws me. And when I saw this one, I thought this might be interesting. I have never heard anybody talk about the book, so if you know this by any chance, if you have read this, let me know. So those are the books that I bought in February, plus one that I bought in December and already hauled once in December. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the haul. As always, looking forward to your comments, and I'll see you all soon in the next one.